This is a story of Chibuzo, who was influenced badly by his friend Emeka, and the repercussions that followed. Growing up in the heart of Ala Igbo, Chibuzo had always been a model student and dutiful son. His parents, Nnamdi and Adaeze, instilled in him a deep respect for Igbo culture and traditions from a young age. They expected him to excel academically, fulfill his responsibilities to the family and community, and one day, become a respected leader. Chibuzo thrived under this guidance, graduating at the top of his class and earning a prestigious scholarship to study engineering at the university in the nearby city. His parents beamed with pride, confident that their son was on the path to a bright future. However, everything changed when Chibuzo met Emeka during his first year of university. Emeka was a charismatic and streetwise young man from the city slums, with a magnetic personality that quickly drew Chibuzo in. Unlike the structured, traditional upbringing Chibuzo was accustomed to, Emeka represented a seductive world of freedom, excitement, and the promise of an alternative way of life. At first, the friendship seemed harmless enough. Emeka introduced Chibuzo to new music, fashion, and social circles. They would spend long nights discussing philosophy, debating the merits of Igbo customs, and exploring the vibrant nightlife of the city. Chibuzo found himself intrigued by Emeka's cynical views on authority and his disdain for the rigid expectations placed on young people in their community. Gradually, Emeka began to sow seeds of doubt in Chibuzo's mind. He would criticize Chibuzo's parents for being too overbearing, too traditional, and too focused on appearances rather than Chibuzo's true desires. Emeka insisted that Chibuzo was destined for greater things than the confines of his small hometown and family responsibilities. "You're so much smarter and more ambitious than these people, Chibuzo," Emeka would say. "Why should you have to live by their outdated rules? Isn't it time you started living for yourself?" Chibuzo found himself increasingly torn between the life his parents had envisioned for him and the allure of Emeka's carefree, unconventional lifestyle. He began skipping classes to go clubbing with Emeka and his friends, neglecting his studies in favor of late-night philosophical discussions and political activism. When Chibuzo's grades started slipping, his parents grew concerned. They tried to reason with him, reminding him of the sacrifices they had made to provide him with this educational opportunity. But Chibuzo, now firmly under Emeka's influence, became defensive and dismissive of their concerns. "You just don't understand, Mom and Dad," he would argue. "This is about more than just getting good grades. I'm exploring my own path, finding my true purpose. You can't keep controlling my life forever." Nnamdi and Adaeze watched helplessly as their once diligent son spiraled into a pattern of poor decision-making and rebellious behavior. They reached out to Chibuzo's professors, hoping they could intervene, but Chibuzo had become adept at evading their inquiries and manipulating the system to avoid consequences. The final straw came when Chibuzo was arrested for his involvement in a violent protest against the university administration. His parents were devastated, not only by the legal repercussions, but by the realization that their son had become entangled in a dangerous world of political radicalization and antisocial activities. In a desperate attempt to save Chibuzo from further harm, Nnamdi and Adaeze decided to bring him home for the summer break, hoping that the familiar comforts of their Igbo village and the guidance of their extended family would help him rediscover his roots and the values he had once held dear. At first, Chibuzo resisted, arguing that he was an adult now and shouldn't be forced to conform to his parents' expectations. But as the weeks passed, he began to notice subtle changes in his perspective. The rhythms of village life, the warmth of his grandparents' embrace, and the quiet wisdom of the elders slowly, but surely started to chip away at the cynicism and defiance that Emeka had instilled in him. One day, while helping his father tend to the family's yam fields, Chibuzo found himself reflecting on the true purpose of his education and the responsibilities he had towards his community. He remembered the pride he had once felt in upholding Igbo traditions, and the deep sense of belonging he had experienced as a child. Gradually, Chibuzo's eyes were opened to the harmful influence Emeka had exerted over him. He saw how the city had corrupted his values and blinded him to the importance of family, community, and the rich cultural heritage that had shaped him. When Emeka was a charismatic in his attempts to lure Chibuzo back to the city slums, the young man found the strength to cut ties. He explained to Emeka that he had chosen a different path, one that aligned with the principles and responsibilities instilled in him by his Igbo upbringing. "I'm sorry, Emeka, but I can't go back to that life," Chibuzo said, his voice resolute. "I've realized that the freedom you promised me was nothing more than an illusion, a trap that would only lead me further away from who I truly am. My family, my community, they are the ones who truly understand me and support my growth. I need to honor that, even if it means leaving our friendship behind." Emeka was furious, accusing Chibuzo of betraying their bond and succumbing to the outdated ways of his parents. But Chibuzo stood firm, knowing that he had to reclaim his own identity and purpose, even if it meant disappointing a friend he had once held dear. As the summer drew to a close, Chibuzo returned to the university with a renewed sense of focus and determination. He threw himself back into his studies, reconnecting with professors who had once despaired of his potential. Slowly but surely, he rebuilt the trust and respect he had once enjoyed within the academic community. Nnamdi and Adaeze watched with immense pride as their son rediscovered his passion for engineering and recommitted himself to serving his people. They knew that the journey had not been an easy one, but they were grateful to have their Chibuzo back, the young man they had raised, with all of his intelligence, integrity, and unwavering respect for Igbo values. In the years that followed, Chibuzo went on to become a respected leader in his field, using his engineering expertise to spearhead community development projects that uplifted his people. He never forgot the lessons he had learned during that tumultuous period in his life, and he made it his mission to guide other young Igbo men and women away from the dangerous lure of misguided friendships and towards a future rooted in the rich cultural traditions of their ancestors. Thank you for listening and watching. Kindly support us by liking, sharing, and subscribing to our YouTube channel at Chikwudiolola.